How's everybody doing? This is Ruben once again with Philosophy. I want to thank you guys for watching this video. If you liked any of my past videos, definitely subscribe to the channel, like or comment on the videos. It'd be greatly appreciated. Today, I want to talk about a specific mineral that is vital to the human body. If people nowadays, they're out of energy, they need coffee all throughout the day. I mean, there's nothing wrong with coffee. I have coffee, but I don't have coffee mainly for an energy source, where other people are just drinking coffee or energy drinks all throughout the day. I enjoy coffee in the morning, maybe in the afternoon, maybe at nighttime. I don't know. In the Mexican culture, it's common for you to have a hot beverage at nighttime in the afternoon, maybe like hot chocolate, coffee. So I take it every now and then at those times, but I don't do it for me to keep going. Now, in today's time, especially if you're living in the States or any place across the world, if you want success, really in any form, you need to keep going and going and going and going. Whether it's healthy or not, we can have a debate on that, right? But the reality is that for you to have success, the world does demand a lot of your time. And for you to keep producing. So whether that's healthy or not, like I said, that's a debate for another day. But let's face with what's in front of us right now. Many of us do want success. Many of us maybe are struggling financially, emotionally, spiritually, whatever you want to call it. And we need to go ahead and keep going forward to go ahead and find answers. So a lot of energy is required of you. If you look at the world, mental health has increased at a rate we've never seen before. Now, one, it could be maybe because the diagnoses have changed. So a lot of people, maybe we had the same rate 100 years ago, 70 years ago, but the diagnosis just wasn't there. So maybe it's the diagnosis that changed. That's why we see a skyrocket increase in mental health. Or it could be that people are just more susceptible to it, or just do have those stress levels at very high rates. Those depression levels manifest anxiety. You hear that a lot, anxiety. By the way, if you do have any sort of emotional issues like this, go look at my last video on thought field therapy. I explained a therapy that I learned years ago that heals all of that instantly. So check it out. But as I mentioned, a lot of energy is required of us. And the mental health issue has increased. And we see people drinking these energy increase resources nonstop, right? Taking coffee, they're taking caffeine pills, they're taking energy drinks, all this. Why is this? Well, the energy that is required from you to go ahead and just live day by day is huge. Now, this is a fact. It's huge compared to 60, 70 years ago. People did not work this much or had this huge amount of time required of them to live, right? For example, in many Asian countries like China, Japan, suicide rates are high, very high. And over there, they have different workforce regulations that we do here in the States. So they're required to work more and so forth. And you look really bad upon if you don't, quote, work as much, right? And even here in the States, you're looked down upon if you do not go ahead and work a lot. This is looked down upon. It's like you're lazy, right? Now, nobody's lazy. Everybody wants to succeed. Just the energy levels may not be there. Your brain, for example, that organ requires more sugar per capita than any other tissue or organ in the human body. That's your brain. Sugar is a form of gasoline to your body. We know this. This is why sugar is so addictive, or sugar feels so good when we consume it, because the body sees it as a very fast source of energy. This goes back to ancient times where we had to go ahead and run away from tigers, which if a tiger spots you, I really doubt there's a chance of you getting away from it, but the body tries to survive any way it can. And to survive, it sees energy as the main resource, right, for survival. So that's why there's huge addictions to sugar, anything that could give you energy, coffee, energy drinks, all this. Your body metabolizes sugar and uses it as gasoline. So we explained that. Sugar is not the enemy here. We hear people really bash sugar a lot. Oh, you should reduce your sugar consumption. Sugar is not good for you, and so forth. And it's true. If sugar is not good for you, if you consume a lot of it and don't have the resources within you to go ahead and metabolize it. This is why we see a lot of issues with fatigue, right? Not enough energy and things like diabetes. I'm not a doctor. I am not here to go ahead and give you a cure or anything. I'm just explaining the sugar metabolism and how it works and so forth. And give you a resolution for fatigue. So, metabolizing sugar is the issue. Not sugar, but metabolizing sugar. When you're not able to metabolize sugar, what happens is that the body doesn't receive it and uses it. Because there's not a specific factor in there that allows it to be metabolized. So it does not go into use. So what happens? Your body does not have energy. So it tells your brain, I need energy, I need energy. That's why you overeat. This is why we love junk food, we love sugar. And that's why, there's always weight issues. People are always at the gym trying to lose weight. But yet when the main issue should be is the energy source. Because when you're able to go ahead and get the sugar or the gasoline that you need, your body does not send signals to your brain and tells it to go ahead and give you hunger pains or cravings for you to go ahead and get some sugar in. You need to go ahead and metabolize it. Sugar is not the issue. The metabolization of the sugar is the issue. And most of us cannot metabolize sugar, especially at the amounts that we're consuming sugar nowadays. So the food that is available today is the same food that it looks exactly the same as it did 70, 100 years ago, right? Banana looks the same, so forth. Tomato, beef, whatever. But the calories in those foods are tremendously high compared to 70, 100 years ago. Why is that? That's another debate for another time. That is not what we're here to talk about. We're just here to say the facts. So we're consuming sugar more than ever, or energy sources more than ever, but yet we're more tired than ever. Your DNA is made of sugar. So sugar is not the issue here. Your body loves sugar, couldn't live without sugar. Your brain couldn't function without sugar. So the factor is here. The factor here is metabolizing the sugar. In 1957, a scientist by the name of Walter Mertz discovered while doing research with rats that there's a specific mineral known as chromium, which the highest source of chromium that we know comes from sugar cane. Think about that. Sugar cane has the most amount of chromium when it's grown. Food for thought. So Walter Mertz discovered that whenever you take away chromium from the diet of these rats, which he was doing the research on, surprisingly, diabetes manifests. But when you add chromium back into the diet of the rats, diabetes goes away. This is not made with humans. These were rats. And nor am I saying that chromium is a cure for diabetes. I'm just giving you the scientific research and how we came about knowing about chromium. And that was from Walter Mertz. So he discovered that the chromium plays a big role in sugar metabolization, right? They found that chromium, think about it like this. Whenever you consume sugar, whether it's through food or sugar itself or whatnot, whenever it goes into your body, the body sends signals to the brain to go ahead and release insulin. Insulin gets the sugar, acts as a transport vehicle, takes the sugar to the cell. Chromium has to be present in the cell, or to be more specific, around the cell, to bring the sugar in. So insulin is like, let's say you have a construction project. Insulin is the transport of the material, and chromium is like the workers that make things happen, right? So insulin brings the sugar to the cell. Chromium has to be present for the sugar to go inside the cell. Sugar goes inside the cell, you have energy, you have life. So when this is the case, if you look at research that's been made, especially here in America, they've found that the levels of chromium in the average person is low. And actually, most people do not have any detectable signs of chromium in their bodies at all. That's how much chromium has been depleted from this high sugar diets that we're consuming. So the more sugar you consume, the more chromium is needed to metabolize that sugar. So high sugar content, high sugar content, high sugar content through decades, and now even through years, can deplete you from chromium, and that could be a good, not a good, but a fast way for you to develop things like diabetes and other issues, right? Which you can talk to your doctor about and they'll be able to explain. So the research is there. We can't deny that chromium does not work as a metabolizing factor for sugar. So what do we do now? We can go on and talk about it and spend countless of hours, probably days, probably weeks, talking about, well, is the diet, well, is the sugar, well, is exercise, well, is what is the issue we're facing now? We're facing a high content of sugar. What can we do? Let's go ahead and metabolize it. And then we can use that as energy. So let's consume chromium. Now, when you consume any mineral, which chromium is one, and now it has been added as an essential nutrient, an essential mineral to the human body. Whenever you consume any sort of mineral that gives you life, you have to make sure that it's not synthetic, but it's food-based. It's a whole food nutrient that comes from plants. Whenever you get vitamins nowadays, minerals, most of them, especially the ones that you could get like at pharmacies or major stores, those minerals and those vitamins come from rocks mainly, or from other things like eggshells. Believe it or not, the human body wasn't designed to consume rocks or eggshells. For example, calcium, I believe most of the supplements that they sell come from oyster shells. The human body has never been designed to consume oyster shells. So I would definitely don't recommend for you to consume those type of supplements. Whenever you do consume supplements like vitamins, minerals, do consume it in a whole food form where it comes from plants. Plants were designed to consume rocks. They were designed to consume rocks. And then they take in those minerals and then we eat the plants. Just like cows, right? Cows were designed to eat grass. They get those minerals from the grass. We eat the cow, and then we get those minerals, right? So we're getting them from the secondhand source. But that's the way that our bodies have accommodated through history as far as the consumption of these minerals and vitamins. So you have to get a whole food supplement. If you can't get a whole food supplement, I would suggest for you to not get that supplement at all. Get a whole food supplement. They're a little bit more costly than those other cheap supplements you see at pharmacies or at major stores, but they're well worth it. Well worth it. So there's a great saying: you can pay now, or you can pay later with your health. So think about that. The best chromium I have found that I recommend, that I take, comes from a company known as Innate Response, which is this one right here. Innate Response. And as you see here, it says GTF Chromium, right? And these come, if you can see there. Well, they come in 50 microgram tablets. Little tablets. I'll show you guys. So this is a 50 microgram tablet of pure whole food chromium, which your body will love. So remember, chromium acts as the dock workers or the workers at a construction site. Without them, the work can be made. Insulin can bring all the sugar it wants, but if there's no workers, there's really no reason for it. So chromium acts as that. So these come in 50 microgram tablets. For the average person, and for this bottle is like, I think it's like $28, $28, and it has 90 tablets in it. For the average person, it's recommended for you to take at least 100 micrograms 3 times a day. So that's 300 micrograms. So what, that's like 6 tablets a day. With you taking just 100 micrograms, if you don't have no issues as far as fatigue or issues with sugar metabolism, then definitely take 100 micrograms a day, right? And you'll be fine. That's just to maintain your levels. But if you're dealing with fatigue, if you feel like you need coffee all throughout the day or energy drinks, I see this a lot, especially at workplaces. Everybody's consuming energy drinks and so forth. Start taking chromium in a whole food form. And within the first week, you'll see a difference. You'll see your energy levels rise. You'll see fatigue decrease. You see you're sharper. You're able to work more. And surprisingly, you'll notice that certain cravings start diminishing, especially when it comes to sugar. So it will shock you. And there's research out there, which I'm not going to talk about in this video. I'm just going to briefly explain it. There's research out there, scientific research, that proves that chromium opens up your dopamine receptors in the brain. So if you don't know how addictions work, whenever you consume something that could cause an addiction, like drugs, food, or any sort of anything that can become addictive, right? Sugar, right? Whenever you consume that, your dopamine receptors are like flowers. They're opened up, right? And when you consume that, they start diminishing. Well, not diminishing, but closing. And the more you consume, they start to close more. The more you consume at a more common rate, the faster they close. That's why addicts always need more of whatever drug they're taking. If you look at heroin addicts, they always need more of that substance to make them feel the same way they felt the first time they ever used it. The reason for that is because the dopamine receptors close. So not much dopamine is getting in there. So for you to get the same hit as you did the first time, you need more and more, huge amounts. Chromium has been proven to open up those dopamine receptors. So shockingly, you would say, oh, well, that would allow drug addicts to even consume, to keep consuming drugs. Not really, because the dopamine receptors open up. You'll find yourself not needing that substance at all. Your cravings for that go away. So people use this for sugar cravings, you'll start noticing the sugar cravings go away. I'll give you a good example. For me, when I started taking Chromium, a craving that went away was ice cream. I used to like ice cream. I still like it, but I'm not like, okay, if we're out at a restaurant and we're ordering dessert, I'm not ordering the ice cream. I'm not craving ice cream. Or if I'm at the store, do I need to make sure that I'm buying some ice cream to keep it in the fridge or something? No, I don't. And I just, whenever I do feel like eating ice cream, I go and buy some ice cream. I don't try to make sure that every time I go grocery shopping, I buy some ice cream, like most people do, right? So I'm getting way off subject, but just to give you an extra, right? Chromium has been proven to open up dopamine receptors. So if you're dealing with cravings, probably addictions, you should try that out. So it's recommended 100 micrograms a day for those people who are not suffering from energy levels. Energy decreasing levels or so forth, or fatigue. But if you are dealing with energy issues or fatigue, 100 micrograms 3 times a day. Now, the reason I say 3 times a day and not say, oh, just take all 6 tablets at once is because your body cannot take in that much chromium all at once. The most it can do is 100 micrograms per 3-hour period. So if you're taking your 100 micrograms, and I'm sorry, I'm mistaken. I'm sorry. These come in 100 micrograms each little tablet. I'm sorry about that. I said 50, but they come in 100 micrograms per each tablet. So you'll be taking 3 of them a day. For people who are not suffering from energy issues, take it just once a day. Even if you take it once a day, that's at least something, and you'll notice some sort of difference. But 100 micrograms 3 times a day. So once you take your 100 micrograms, before you take another dose, you have to wait at least 3 hours, because the body will not take in that much chromium. If you go ahead and take another 100 microgram tablet within that 3-hour period, it's like throwing the tablet away. You'll just pee it out, right? So 100 micrograms 3 times a day. You don't have to do it exactly one tablet, 3 hours later another tablet. You could split it up. Usually what I would do is morning upon waking up, lunchtime, and dinner. And if you want to see a little bit faster results, go ahead and take an extra one at bedtime. I'm telling you, your energy levels will increase dramatically. If you look at my YouTube channel, there's tons of videos on there. How do I have the time to make this many videos? How does anyone have the time to make this many videos, right? Or have many projects going on? Or Chromium. You have more energy. You can perform better. You can perform more. Now, definitely don't take this as something that can allow you to go ahead and work so much that you're sleep deprived. That's not how this works. This allows you to go ahead and work more, work sharper. But if you go on and take this and not get your sleep, just slowly are going to create another problem, which could become bigger. So although you may feel like, hey, I'm going to go ahead and take another chromium, so I could work more, even if I get sleep deprived. And maybe you'll feel like, hey, I don't need that much sleep anymore. Well, that's great. I mean, that's awesome, right? That's a dream come true. But you need your sleep. Albert Einstein used to sleep 10 hours a day. That's one of the greatest, if not the greatest, scientists ever known to man. And he used to sleep 10 hours a day. It was required for him by his own self to go ahead and sleep that much. And he made some of the greatest scientific discoveries, right? Thomas Edison, the guy who created the light bulb, was known to take naps throughout the day, even though he would say that he would look at sleep as a bad quote thing, right? He used to talk down on sleep. But there's even pictures of him where they've taken, he's like in the middle of a park or something, and he just decides to go ahead and take a nap. But he was known, if you look at his biographies, autobiographies, he was known to go ahead and sleep a lot throughout the day. So, I mean, some of the greatest minds, yes, genetics play a big part. You know, some people are just born with the miracle of not requiring that much sleep. 4 or 6 hours is all they need, and this is proven. Like people who have genetics to go ahead and eat and never gain weight. They have a fast metabolism. Well, that's their genetics, right? That's their genetics. People that can eat junk food all day, every day, and not gain weight. Well, that's some great genetics. But for the most part, most people are not built like that. So take your chromium, make more research on chromium, study it, look at the research that's out there. Don't take my word for it. Go ahead and make your own research. And if there's a source that I would recommend, would be Innate Response, because it's high quality, whole food nutrients. So you can find this at Amazon. Like I said, it's like $28 or so. And that's for 90 tablets. If you're taking it 3 times a day, that could last you like a month or so, a little bit over a month. If you take less, even more. But at the beginning, if you want to see some fast results, go ahead and take it 4 times a day. There's some people who even take it every 3 hours at the beginning, just so they can go ahead and, for example, they may have taken chromium at one point and saw the tremendous benefits, and then for whatever reason they stopped and they want to get back to that level and they want to see faster results. They take it every 3 hours for like a week or 2. But you'll see the difference. 100 micrograms if you don't have any fatigue issues. 300 micrograms a day if you do have energy issues. If you want to see faster results, take it 4 times a day. If you want to see even faster results, you can take it every 3 hours. 1 little tablet every 3 hours. It's up to you, right? Thank you for watching this video. Please share this video for anyone that you know that is suffering from fatigue issues. By the way, if you're pregnant, if you're a lady out there that's pregnant and you're suffering from fatigue issues, try it out. There's pregnant women who take it 5 times a day. And they say that it's the best pregnancy that they've ever had. For mothers who have had past pregnancies, once they start taking chromium during their pregnancy and increase it, as the pregnancy goes further, they'll say this is the best pregnancy they've ever had. They don't have any fatigue issues. They don't have any, I think they call it postpartum depression, or they don't have any sort of anxiety. Their brain works faster. They can stay, they're still active. They love to exercise. They go ahead and work. It's tremendous benefits. I mean, you have to try it for you to see it for yourself, right? So try it out. If you have any questions, you can always send me a question either through my Instagram or an email. I'll put that information in the description. Go and follow me on Instagram. I have a lot of great information on there as well. I usually do a little small video daily talking about something that may cross my mind. So go on there. It's great information as well. So, and plus it's somewhere where you can go ahead and see me more active, because I could do something on my stories. I could throw in a quick video or so forth. So have a great day. Subscribe to the channel. You have a good one.